I'm Susanne Kaiser from Hamburg, Germany, and I am an independent tech consultant and help organizations on optimizing their system for fast flow of change. The session about adaptive socio-technical systems with architecture for flow that entails a combination of 3 different perspectives. So it's a holistic tool set where I combine, on the one side, business strategy with Wardley Mapping on the one side to have the business strategy point of view, but also aligning it and combining it with software architecture and software design with domain-driven design, and also having the socio part of it, the team organization with Team Topologies, and using then the team types and interaction modes of Team Topologies, and bringing those 3 perspectives together in order to design, build, and evolve adaptive socio-technical systems that are optimized for fast flow of change and also constant feedback, incorporating constant feedback from our environment in order to have this holistic toolset at hand that helps you with that. So normally when I come in with this tool set is I try to meet the teams where they are. So I try to interview teams about their current pain points, what is blocking their flow of change, their daily flow of work. And typically teams know exactly what is blocking them and also identifying blockers to flow. And that's something that we face on minimizing, but also those aspects as well, addressing those that support the flow of change, which should we preserve in our ideal future. But usually whenever you change teams, it comes with a lot of fear, because it is a fear that something new is happening, so in what team will I end up and something like that. So what I do is I defer this decision, who is going to be in what team, to the very, very end. And first we focus on what is blocking our flow, so how can we improve it? And this is usually a collaborative team design where I also involve all these effective involved teams that are affected by the transformation, and try to gather with them together to find solutions together, and then having this reasoning and this logical ideal future, and then later on it's a different approach than who's going to be in what team. And this is usually the best that the team members can self-select them their ideal teams in the end. Usually the ideal future, so what we envision for the future so that we can mitigate our blockers to flow. It could be, for example, reducing team cognitive load. So if the teams are overloaded, or if they have a lot of interruptions and context switches, if they don't have clear priorities and focus, and or if they depend on other teams in order to get their own, that the other teams do something in order to get their own work done, or if they need someone with a specific expertise to bring in. And we are in every interaction, every dependencies where we have an interruption-driven team interaction that is blocking our flow of change. So I try to end up with an ideal future together, collaboratively design together with the teams involved, what could be their ideal future at the end. So that is one of the outcomes of the workshop sessions. And then also what could be the next team, how we can achieve it in small steps and increment steps, and also course correct our ideal future along our journey. So it's a different outcome depending also on the client context. So sometimes it's an overarching, where we have streamlined teams that are then facing customer-facing streams of changes, where we can blend in, for example, domain-driven design, trying to enforce modularity, but and also to identify services that support a reliable flow of change, where we can derive them platform teams later on. And sometimes it's just only platform teams. So, for example, if we have an ultra-low latency system where we go directly deep into kernel engineering or something like that, how can we derive this platform or these platform capabilities to other teams, for example, across different time zones, across different countries and something like that. So it's always more we start usually with the teams of today and their current pain points and with the system underneath, and then that's the first step, the envisioned ideal future, also what it could be, the future our team organization, what ownership boundaries do they have, how do we align then the software architecture accordingly. one of the key crucial parts is that we have small increments, or that we work iteratively in small steps. It's not a big bang transformation. For example, when we have an envisioned ideal future, it is just a hypothesis, and when we try to go from our current situation, from our status quo, to achieve our ideal future, we have to go in small steps, because then we can course correct easily, instead of like organizing everything, the entire organization in our ideal future, and then nothing works anymore. So it has to be in small increments, like maybe starting with just one team that forms first, and they go on exploration mode and they explore new things together, maybe when they want to transform to cloud-hosted services. And so far they were running the infrastructure on-premises infrastructure. And then first they need to achieve some experience in cloud-hosted environment, and they can just do it as an isolated team first, and later on they can support them when the next Streamline team, for example, can support them, and giving them suggestions, options, how they can migrate their bounded context that they try to refactor out of the application, on what cloud infrastructure they can run it. So it is and they collaborate then over a limited period of time, and also incorporate gaining experience in this new environment that we try to change. And then this can go back, incorporate then in our ideal future. So are we on the right track? Do we need to course correct? And this only can be done if we go step by step, team by team, and bounded context by bounded context. So one of the challenges that I face when applying architecture for flow is that we are not adjusting three perspectives. So for example, maybe we reorganize our teams into the ideal future, but we are not changing the underlying system. So they are not aligned anymore. So for example, when we go from legacy systems that are typically evolved over the time into a big ball, a monolithic big ball of mud, with a messy model and no clear modularity boundaries, and you say, okay, let's reorganize our team with streamline teams, platform teams around it, and if you keep the architecture, the shape it was at the beginning, and not introduce refactoring sessions, or to modelize it also from the software architecture point of view, then you are misaligned. Teams are then also not aligned with the software architecture and software design. And this could happen at the beginning of your transition, but if you're not investing in also adjusting your system underneath, and with refactoring sessions or replatforming, depending on what level you would like to transform, then it's misaligned, and if you keep it that way, then it can introduce far more bottlenecks than you have had in the beginning. So that is, and also another obstacle is, of course, the personal fear of the team individuals that something changes. So give them also the opportunity to be involved in this decisions, like how the ideal future might look like, and that they have a say, and also maybe also give them the autonomy or the power of maybe self-selecting their future teams. So it depends also on the organizational culture that is involved. Culture is another aspect. So if it's so Vestrum, he categorized cultures in 3 different topologies. For example, the pathological culture, where it is more where you don't have a say, where it's not democratic. And then you have then the bureaucratic culture, and then the generative culture. So the less autonomy you have on your own decision, the more difficult is it to establish then a system for fast flow of change. The awareness of diversity, specifically of minorities in tech, has evolved over the time. So people are more aware of it, but I guess the ratio has not really tremendously changed over the course of the last 20 years. Because when I studied computer science back then, I was one of only a few women in the room. So I opened the door and I closed it right away. So no one was preparing me for that. So as me as a woman in tech, it is that we always have to double prove where different standards apply. So because typically as a minority tech, not only as a woman in tech, you have to double prove that you are have this expertise to make this kind of like technical decisions. And usually when I come into a room and people don't know me, they automatically assign me to more female related roles like project management, which I don't do. And they are then very surprised when I go deeply into engineering, design patterns, Kafka topics or something like that, which are really then technical oriented. At the beginning, I felt under the pressure that I have to double prove that I am capable of solving technical issues. But this has evolved over the time. On the other side, there are also great allies that supported me, and also like being a speaker at a conference and being on stage helped me a lot with building a network. And this is I also highly recommend, like building a network on allies that support you along your journey. And I guess, it is still very challenging. We have definitely not solved the diversity in tech issue. And people also say, it's also diversity in thought. That is something that is only in theory nice to have, but I guess you have to have a diverse team in order to build great solutions that reflects a diverse, complex problem space, and where you have different angles and different opinions involved. That is, the more diverse the team, not only like the cultural diversity, and that you can't really pre-consider when you design a product. It's really important, and I hope we are moving forward. The awareness has changed over the time, but the ratio in reality is still something that we need to improve. Or it's room for improvement, I would say. I guess to make teams and organizations more diverse is, first of all, it's a cultural aspect. If you trust and also a safe environment, it is a magnet for others, for diverse backgrounds, and also how you value diversity in your organization. So what are your values and how you live your values that are combined with trust and safety and safe environments? I mean, that can be complemented with a lot of initiatives, but also how do you envision then like the gender gap, for example? Is it something that you try to close, or is it something like to be ally for minority in tech? The crucial driver is your culture that promotes trust and a safe environment, I would say. I guess there can be a lot of initiatives be presented to minimize the lack of diversity from different perspectives. Conferences like this that promotes safe environments where you meet like-minded people interested in the same topic, but also are willing to learn from each other. So there's no one telling you what to do or something like that, but we are sharing experiences. And I guess it's a great promoter to open a conversation where you have equal conversation partners, and also having a diverse speaker lineup, and is also very beneficial for improving the diversity in tech, and also being an ally for minorities in tech as well. So I guess it's a combination of the willingness to not only having like the typical white male speaker lineup versus more diverse minority in tech also represented in speaker, but also in the audiences. And I guess another thing is how you also engage with, I guess this conference in the size is also very great because you can really engage with the audience as well. And that is also encourage the audience to engage with each other. So we are not on different levels, but also the goal is to share experiences and from both sides.